Let's create another game now. Let us take new file, and we just need to change the resolution. Let us make it the 1280 by 768. We just need to adjust the size, stage size. So let's zoom out for fit in window, and then let's save the current file. I just wanted to name it as ColorMagic because we are going to work with fill colors. So let's save the file. Let us create a base class. Before creating base class, that we are supposed to apply frame labels, because I'm going to have the 3 screens in this now. So each screen is supposed to have a frame label. So I just choose, I'm choosing that layer 1, and first frame that I have named it as labeled it as an intro, and second label is color hunt, and third label is ImageMagic. So let's create another layer, and we require that 3 keyframes, empty keyframes even in this layer also, so that we can place the content separately. Let's go back to that Illustrator. I have all the stuff in Illustrator already. So let's select all the objects from Illustrator and let us copy, and we just need to come back to the Flash to paste them. So select the first keyframe and just paste it there. Click OK to paste them, and they'll be pasted in all separate layers. So we just need to select all the objects and let's convert into a symbol. Just name the symbol. Click OK. The symbol type must be movie clip. Before creating a symbol that we are supposed to export, select the export for ActionScript option, so that we'll be having the class name there. And then let us delete all the empty layers from the timeline, and let's move this current symbol onto the layer 2 first frame, so that this screen will be available within that range. Let's create that layer also. Alright. Now let's get inside the symbol, and we have the 3 titles there: Color Hunt, Game Instructions, and ImageMagic. So we just want to put them in the different layer, because I just want to create these 3 titles, 3 buttons. So I just cut them and then placing them in the next layer, and I named it as in buttons. I've created another layer. I'm just taking that layer bottom of all the other layers, and then I'm taking the background and the title in this layer. So let's unlock the buttons layer, select each title, and let us convert this into a symbol. So each title is supposed to be converted into a symbol, and I just wanted to convert this into a button. So make sure that the symbol type must be button, and click OK. So we just need to name the button and click OK. Let's repeat the same to the other 2 buttons even. Game Instructions, select it and convert to a symbol and name it. Type must be button, click OK. Same with even third title. And this name is only to identify the object in library. So this cannot be used in ActionScript. Please do remember. Click OK. So let's save the file once. It is always better saving in between. Let's save the ActionScript file also, which we created a class for this object. So now it is supposed to stop at first frame. since we have that 45 frames on the main timeline, that it is not supposed to play by default. It is supposed to stay back at first frame the moment when I test the movie. So let's go back to that object class, and inside that public function we are supposed to place that staff method. So I'm just taking that movie clip stage dot get child at 0 dot stop. So we could see that it is stopping at first frame, and then we can see the 3 buttons available there. Now we just need to name the buttons, because if we want to use these buttons in ActionScript, that we are supposed to have instance name for that each button. So let's select that each button, and then we are supposed to apply that instance name from properties panel. So this is the name that which we are going to use in ActionScript to communicate with these objects called buttons. Let's save the file and let's go back to that object class. And we're supposed to apply that event listeners to that all the 3 buttons. So first button is color hunt btn, and let's add event listener. I'm going with that mouse event click. So when we click on this, that it is supposed to move on to that next screen. The screen is supposed to be that color hunt screen. Next button is that game instructions. So game insbtn is my object name. I'm adding that same event listener, and event is also the same click. We just need to define the different function name for this button. So I'm going to use this button to open that pop-up, which is going to show us that game instructions there. And finally, last button, ImageMagic. So the button name is that ImageMagic Detail. Let's add that event listener to this button also. Going with that click event, let's define different function for this. ImageMagic scene. So event listeners are defined there within that public function. Now we are supposed to define all the 3 functions as in private functions. Let's start with the first function, private function color hunt scene. Inside this function, so when we click on this button, that it is supposed to move on to that next label from the main timeline. So to read that main timeline, that we are supposed to take the help of that movie clip method, movie clip of stage dot get child at 0 index. Get child at will work based upon the index number. So that is what we are taking that index as in 0 to identify that main timeline. Dot go to and stop, and then you type label name inside, which is color hunt. Now let us define the another function here, which is again private function, and my function name is game ins popup. So when we click on this button, that it is supposed to give us a pop-up. The pop-up should contain that all the game instructions in it. So we will display that pop-up later. We just define that function there, and let's define that even third function also, which is supposed to be ImageMagic scene. So when I click on this ImageMagic button, that is supposed to move on to that another label, which is last label. We can use that same logic here, reading the main timeline and moving on to the another label using that label name. Same movie clip of stage dot get child at 0. That go to and stop will help us to move on to the required label. We just need to define that label inside that go to and stop method. ImageMagic. So let's save the file once. Let us test it now. We could see the main screen the moment when you click on that color magic, that is moving on to the next scene, but it is blank because we don't have any content there, so it is empty. Let's move on to that next label, and then let's go back to that Illustrator to copy that content from Illustrator. So before taking that next scene content, let us take that instructions pop-up design from Illustrator to Flash. Let's go back to that first frame itself again and select the first symbol and double click on it, and then let us paste it here inside this first symbol from frame 1, and we could see the title, instructions, and close button, a small background. And please do not read English, it is just a sample text, so they are not real-time instructions. I just wanted to show you guys that the way that how we can mention that game instructions here. So let's convert that background as a symbol, then only it is possible for us to control that alpha. I'm just taking that 65% as an alpha. We can see that all the things. Select all the parts of this pop-up and let's convert into a symbol, and make sure that it is supposed to be movie clip symbol, and just name it and click OK. INS pop-up, instructions pop-up, and we're supposed to apply that instance name also. I'm just going with that INS pop-up MC. Let's remove all the empty layers from here. Let's go back to the object class. So before that, just test it now. So we could see that pop-up MC by default on the main screen when we test the movie. So it is supposed to be hidden by default. So let us go back to that object class, and inside the public function we are supposed to apply visible property to this pop-up menu, pop-up movie clip. Let's say that visible equal to false and test it now. So we don't see that pop-up by default there. So the same statement that we can copy and paste it inside that function, and we can change that value to true, because visible property is Boolean property. We'll be having the two possible values there, true and false. Let's make it true to make it visible. So beautiful that we can test it and we can check it now that we will be able to see that, but we are not able to close it because we were not converted that close icon as a button, and we were not applied script to it. Let's convert that close image as button, convert to symbol, and symbol type must be button, and name it and click OK. Now we need to apply that instance name to this symbol because we need to communicate with this through ActionScript. Let's close BTN. Let's save it and go back to that object class. And we just need to create one event listener for this. So we need to define that complete path. So it is inside that main symbol, and then again it is inside that pop-up. So let's say instructions pop-up MC dot close BTN add event listener, and then MouseEvent as it is dot click. Let us define that function name for this close pop-up. Close pop-up MC is the function name here. Let us define this function as a private function close pop-up MC. So inside this function we just need to write a simple statement that which will help us to hide the movie clip. So the statement is already there in the public function, same function that same statement that we can paste it here. Just say INS pop-up MC that visible equal to false. As I told you that visible is a Boolean property here, we just say false to hide the symbol. Let's just save and test it now. Wow, we can see that close button is perfectly working now. So game instructions is working, as well as that we could close that even pop-up also by clicking on close button. So we just need to move on to that next label, which is supposed to be a next scene. And I'm just going back to that Illustrator, select all the design elements from Illustrator for screen 2. And then let's come back to the Flash and select the next label and paste them all here. So we see each element pasted in the different layer. So select all and then convert into symbol, because entire scene is supposed to be in single symbol here. And make sure the type of that symbol is supposed to be movie clip, and let's name it as color hunt screen, and export for ActionScript. Click OK. As I told you that we just need to remove all the empty layers from main timeline, and we just need to move that symbol onto the next label, because that is not supposed to be available previous and next labels. That is supposed to be available in middle label. So let's get inside the symbol, and I'm just converting the backgrounds into symbols. So as we discussed that to control the alpha of each image, so we just need to convert them into symbol, and then we can select the property alpha and we can control it. So let's select both the backgrounds and then put them in the next layer to send them back, just to maintain the stake order that we are supposed to take the different layers. And I'm just taking that entire background and keeping it in different layer, and that layer is supposed to be bottom of all other layers. It is always better to name the layers to identify the content. And let's lock the background layer, save it now. We could see that just by changing the order of that layers, we can see the content visibility. Let's create another layer and let us name it as in buttons. I just want to take those 3 buttons in this buttons layer. The buttons are back, reset all and reset one. These are the 3 buttons that I would like to take them in that different layer name buttons. Cut and paste them here, paste in place. So that will be pasted in same place but in different layer. So we just need to convert each button image as in symbol, and symbol must be button. So I'm just selecting the text and the image and converting into button. 3 buttons are ready now. And now we are supposed to apply that instance names. So that is very important to use them in ActionScript. So I'm selecting each button and applying that instance names. So all the 3 buttons are ready now. Applied 3 different instance names to the 3 buttons. Instance names of the objects are supposed to be unique. And select the text object, and it should be dynamic, and I'm going to use the text object for timer. So we just need to choose the type of the text object is supposed to be dynamic, and let's apply that instance name, and we need to embed the font even. Now select the color spectrum and let's convert that image into symbol, must be movie clip, and get inside the symbol and convert that symbol once again, convert that image once again into a symbol. So inside symbol name is that spectrum, the inside symbol instance name is spectrum, and then come out of it, and the main color picker symbol instance name is color picker MC. So we have color picker MC, and inside it we have that spectrum movie clip. So I'm just taking that image, a cartoon drawing, which is outline drawing. I'm taking that in the different layer so that it is easy for me to separate each piece of that drawing. Let's take another copy of the same image and put it in the different layer and hide it and lock it. Now I just named one layer as in the cartoon, which is unlocked, and now I want to convert this bitmap into vector using the trace bitmap. So we could see that now entire image is converted into vector. Now I'll be able to select that each part of the cartoon. Now each part of the cartoon that we are supposed to select, and then we need to convert them into symbol. Then only it is possible for us to work with the color transform method. It is not possible for us to transfer the color without converting them into symbol. So I am selecting each part of that drawing and just converting them into symbols, and symbol type must be that movie clip. So without converting this into vector, it is not possible for us to select like this, and then it is not possible for us to convert them into symbols. That's where I just converted this image into vector using the trace bitmap. Hope you are following me. I'm just selecting that each part of the outline drawing and just converting them into symbols. Tongue is one symbol, face is another symbol, dress is another symbol, hands are another symbol. Look at that. Let's continue this process for each part of the drawing. First we need to convert that entire stuff into symbols. Each piece of that drawing is supposed to be converted into symbol, and then we will start naming them. As I told you that we are supposed to have that instance name for that each symbol, then it is possible for us to fill the different colors in each symbol by using this spectrum, which is on the left side of the drawing. Yeah, I've converted everything into that symbols, and then I'm deleting the background of the outline drawing. I'm just checking that whether it is converted into symbol or not. I'm counting them. I'm just making sure that all the pieces are converted into symbols. Cool. So let's select all the symbols and just say cut, and let us place them in a different layer, because I just want to delete that outline. Let us create another layer and just paste them there, and let us name it as a movie clips, and then delete this outline layer. We could see that we have only the white fill colors, and then let us make visible the hidden layer. Now we see perfect outlines and black color content from duplicate copy, and then we'll be having all the movie clips and the other layer, which is top of this image layer. And we need to select each symbol, and we are supposed to name them. So naming is your wish, however you want that you can name each symbol, but you should remember each name. Then only it is possible for us to mention them in ActionScript. I'm just following the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, easy for me to remember. There are almost 9 symbols. I'm just taking it as in 1 MC, 2 MC, 3 MC, easy for me to remember. So you just need to apply that instance name to that each symbol. Fine. Let's lock the layer and fit in window. Now we just need to create a class for this symbol even. Let's go back to that library, select the symbol, right click on it and just say edit class. So we could see that ActionScript file, and let's save the file with the same name, and we have now another object class. So first object class was applied for first symbol, and the second object class is applied for the second symbol, which is on the second screen. Let's go back to that second object class, and we are just taking that back button instance name to apply that mouse event. When I click on that back button, it is supposed to go back to that main screen, or I would say the title screen. So the click event as it is, and the function for this click event is back to main screen. So we need to apply that mouse event class on the top. So let's come back to the main class and let us create that private function, and my function name is back to main screen. As it is, we just need to use that movie clip of getChildIt to read that main timeline, and then we can use that same frame label to jump onto specific place. Movie clip of stage dot getChildIt 0 dot go to and stop, and then we need to define that label name there as an intro, I hope. Let's define the label here, introduction. Let's check the label once. It is always better to check that label and then mention the same label there. It is intro, it is not introduction. Let us make it intro. Let's say save and test it now. So click on color hunt. We could see the design screen here. Click on back button to go back to that main screen. Click. Right. So we have clear navigation between these two screens, screen 1 and screen 2. Screen 1 is title screen, screen 2 is that my game screen, which is supposed to be that magic, color magic. And here we require that the three different variables basically to work with the color transform. We require that three variables. One variable to define that color picker, the another variable is color transform, which is supposed to be a color transform class, which will help us to transform the color from one object to the other object. Here I am taking that bitmap object as an BitmapDT equal to new bitmap data, and we are supposed to define that height and width of my color picker so that I can read that pixel color from only that particular area. I just took that height and width as in that 413 by 366. I just checked it, and then let's define that another variable as in color transform. The instance name of that color transform is CT, as I told you, and we require that one more variable hexa color. I just want to store that hexadecimal value in this variable. I'm just taking the data type as in star. Okay, now inside that public function, we just need to draw the bitmap data to read that color picker. Say bitmap.draw. Then source for this draw is color picker MC.spectrum. That is very, very important because we have that spectrum as a movie clip which is inside that color picker MC. And later next we are supposed to take the color picker MC dot spectrum that add event listener, because whenever I move my cursor on the spectrum, that is supposed to get the pixel data or pixel color from spectrum. So to read that color information from color spectrum, I'm just applying that mouse move event to the spectrum which is part of that color picker MC. So function name is update color and event is that mouse move. And let's apply another event also, which is click. So when I move my cursor on the spectrum, it is supposed to keep updating the color on the target object. And when I click on one particular color, that is supposed to freeze the color. So click event to that spectrum again, and function name is the freeze color. Let's define these two functions here. Private function and the function name is update color. As I told you, that mouse event. Inside this function, we just need to read the pixel color from spectrum, and we just need to transfer that color as it is to the target object. So to read that pixel color and to store that color information in variable, hexa color equal to 0x, because hexadecimal value can be identified in ActionScript with 0x, not with hash. So 0x plus, and we need to read the pixel data from bitmap. So my bitmap object name is that BitmapDT. BitmapDT.getPixel. So from where do you want to read that pixel data? So based on that mouse X and mouse Y. And that mouse X and mouse Y is also not from the stage. It is supposed to be from spectrum. So spectrum dot mouse X, comma spectrum dot mouse Y, and these values are supposed to be converted into hexadecimal. And let's use toString method with 16 to convert this. So finally, the value will be stored in that hexa color variable, and we just need to transfer that hexa color to ColorTransform. That's what I'm doing here. ct.color equal to hexa color. And then now the color information should transfer from ct to ColorTransform to my target object. So I'm just taking that static object as in 1mc. 1mc.transform.colorTransform is equals to, and the source of color is ct. And we just need to define that another function just to freeze the color. Unclick. So my function name is freeze color. As it is, that event is mouse event. So let's transform the color again. So object name dot transform dot color transform equal to ct. ct is the source for the color information. So to freeze this color, we just need to remove that mouse move event, otherwise that it will not keep the same color continuously. So it will keep on changing that whenever I move mouse. So on click that I just wanted to disable that mouse move event. Just say remove event listener and then function name. Save it and test it now. Click on color hunt. Oh, my static object is 1mc. Whenever I move my cursor, I could see that color update. Unclick, it is freezing the color. Look at it. Cool. Once we click on the color, it will freeze the color, and it will not, even if you move the cursor after clicking, it will not change the color of an object. So now it is not supposed to take that static object to fill the color. So whenever I select the piece from my drawing, that piece is supposed to be active, and then when I select the color, the selected color is supposed to be transformed to the selected symbol, not to one particular symbol. So to do that, I just need to apply that same event to all the objects, just to find that the selected object. So instead of writing that event listener to that each object, I'm just define that my custom function add events and define all the object names inside. Now we need to define that add events function there. So let's define it as a private function, and my function name is add events, and let's define as an array parameter. Let's define it's an objects array. Now we just need to define that for loop to read that each object from this objects array. So I is 0, index starts from 0, I is less than array.length, array is objects objects.length, I is less than objects.length, and I plus plus incrementation. So inside this, that I would like to apply click event to that each symbol. So I can read that each symbol from objects of I, because objects is an array, I is an index. Objects of I dot add event listener, and let's apply that click event. I just wanted to apply that same function to that all the objects, which is supposed to be that select object is my function name. And we need to define that now select object function. So inside this select object function, I'm just going to identify that object the moment when I click on the object. So to identify that object, I just need one object variable. So I just define that variable as in my object, and type of that object variable is object type. And let's come back to the function, and I'm just defined it as in private function, and function name is selected object, and event is MouseEvent. So as I told you that my object is equals to e.target, so that easily it can push that current object into the my object. Now let's cut that mouse move event and let us paste it inside this function, because whenever I select the object, then mouse move is supposed to be active. So I'm just moving that mouse move event listener inside this select object. So I just need to update the function name as in select object. It is not selected object. It was just by mistake. And then I'm supposed to change my static object to the dynamic, because I took that 1MC, but in the place of 1MC that I'm supposed to take that my obj, because that is my object. So my object is the variable that which is storing that selected object. So let's test it and go back to this color on screen. Now when I move the cursor without selection, that I don't see that any color update. But the moment when you click on the part from the drawing and then move on the color spectrum, that I could see color update. So this is how that we can fill the color on selected object. Just click on the object, then choose the color. Click on the object, choose the color. So when we click on the object selected object will be identified into that object variable, and we are using that same object variable name to transfer the color. So that's how that it is possible for us to transfer that selected color to the selected object. Hope you see how beautiful that we'll be able to see the preview of the different colors and phrasing that one particular color just by clicking on the spectrum. just keep changing the colors and have fun. Click and back, going back to that main screen. And when you come back to the screen, that it will reset all the symbols. So I'm just checking that button names because we need to write the script for two other buttons, reset all and reset one. Checking that instance names of the buttons, and then let's come back to that object class. And inside this public function that we are supposed to add two functions to the two buttons, reset all and reset one. The moment when I say that reset all the movie clips are supposed to go back to that white color, should ready to accept the fresh colors again. And reset one is something like undo. It should cancel the color of latest object, latest selected object. So the button name is ch reset all button, and applied an event there and defined a function there. And now let us define the function in down of all the other functions. The private function and reset all clips is my function name. So regular event mouse event, and we just need to create another custom function similar like add events. So let's create that custom function as an reset all. Let's copy that same function, paste it here, and just we can change the function name add events to reset all. So we need to define that reset all down to it, private function reset all, and let's define that objects parameter dot objects creates an array without all the parameters. As we use that for loop for add events, we can use same for loop here, for loop where I initial value 0, I is less than array.length, which is objects.length, and I++ incrementation. Inside this loop, we should reset the color of each symbol. So we can read that each symbol just by saying that object of I, and dot transform and dot color transform equal to color information. So color information is always there with that color transform variable. Here in this, which is supposed to be CT. So color transform is equals to CT. Now we need to update that CT to white color, because I just wanted to fill with white in all the symbols when I click and reset. So that's how I want to reset it. So to update that CT, we just need to take that hexacolor variable update. So hexacolor is equals to hexadecimal value of white color, and then let us assign this hexacolor, updated hexacolor to ct.color, because ct is the source for my object and hexacolor is the source for color transform. Save it and test it now. Let's go back, select the objects, fill the colors. Once you fill a couple of symbol colors and click reset all to reset them back to white fill. Oh, it's working. So it is filling back to white. So just checking the instance name of that reset one. Let's copy the instance name from properties panel, and let's add another event listener inside that public function. We just read the instance name just now, and dot add event listener, same event mouse event dot click, and my function name would be reset one. reset one clip. Let's define this function now. Bottom. So it is always better to save the program in between, so that will be in safe side. Private function, and let's define the function name. Reset one clip. Please do remember that function name. It's always better to copy that from top. So let's define that event as a mouse event. Now we can take the same 3 lines from reset all clips, say copy and paste it here. We just need to update that object name, because we were taking that object name from array earlier, but now that object is supposed to be defined with latest object. So as we discussed that we're pushing that latest object onto that my object variable, just define that same variable name here. Let's save it and test it now. Let's select each object and fill the color. And when you fill multiple, if you click on reset one, it is supposed to reset back to white of latest object, not all. Similar like undo. Click on, look at that. Click on reset one, that it is changing only that latest object color. Again, that reset all is to reset all the symbols. Both are working perfectly. Reset one, reset all. I'm just making sure that it is supposed to be. And then we are supposed to update that timer now, because we could see that update of that single color and multiple objects and single object and reset color, reset all, everything is working fine. So we just need to display the timer there. So to display that time, we just need to require that one, we just need to take one timer object. So let's use the timer class to create the timer object. My timer is equals to timer class, and the interval time is the 1000 milliseconds, which is equal to that 1 second. And let's define that one variable also, I, because we just need a variable to increase that number along with the timer. So we just need to define the timer event inside that public function. Let's add the event listener to that my timer object. My timer.add event listener, and the event is the timer event, and update time. Update timer is that function. Let's define that function name. So along with that event listener, that we are supposed to apply that start method to that my timer, which will start immediately the moment when I say test. And let's define the function for that my timer, which is update timer. So inside this function, we just need to increase that variable I++. So I just wanted to display this total milliseconds into seconds, seconds into minutes. So I just wanted to display that timer value in minutes and seconds. To convert this into that minutes and seconds, so we just need to calculate that values there. I'm just taking the 3 different variables here. One is the total seconds. I'm assigning that I to this total seconds. And now next variable is that minutes. So I is the number of seconds. We just need to divide with 60 to get that number of minutes. and I just applied that floor not to see the decimals. And the next variable is that seconds. Seconds equal to total seconds mod of 60, which will help us to count that seconds 0 to 59, again 0 to 59. It gets repeated, and mod is the operator that which will help us to get show us the remainder. Now a small condition here. So because generally by default that seconds and minutes will be displayed a single digit till 9. So I don't want to see that single digit there. It is supposed to display that 0102 till 09 and then 10111213. So to get that, what I'm doing here is string of minutes that length is less than 2, I'm adding it 0. Otherwise that state away the same time will be updated in minutes. So same condition even for seconds also. And later we need to display that minutes and seconds together in timer.txt. That was a dynamic text field which was part of that game screen. Timer.txt, that text equal to text is a property of dynamic text field equal to, we just need to display that variable names there. Timer.txt dot text equal to minutes plus seconds. In between that, let's take colon so to separate them, because we're just updating that total minutes and seconds from two different variables. To separate them, let's take that string as a colon. Test it now. Click color hunt. Right, we could see the timer update there perfectly. Started from 0, containing that adding that 0 and 0 disappeared that after 9. Perfect. Let's go back to the top again. So we just need to have that one more variable for count, because we should know that the game is completed once we fill all the symbols with the colors. I'm just using that the count logic. I just want to create that one count variable there, count equal to 0 default. I just need to update this count when I freeze the color. So inside that freeze color function, I'm just updating the variable name count plus plus. I'm updating that variable value count, saying that count plus plus. So freezing color can be done when I click on the color spectrum. So inside that event, we can write a condition. And when we say reset all clips, count must be 0. And when we say reset 1, count should decrease 1. So count should reset to 0 when I click on reset all, and when I reset 1, 1 should subtract. It should decrease that one value, one number. And then let's go back to that same freeze color function, and we just need to count the number. We need to check the condition with the count value. Count is double equal to 9. Then let's display the pop-up as a symbol saying that game over. So game over, that visible equal to true. I'm going to create the symbol now. Let us write the statement and then we'll go back to the design part. So it is supposed to be false by default. Let's add the statement inside the public function saying that visible equal to false. Game over mc dot visible equal to false. Let's go back to the design part, and inside this screen 1, and we just need to create another layer. Let's draw a rectangle with black color, black fill color. So I just wanted to draw a rectangle on the spectrum, so that spectrum will become visible. Drawing a rectangle on the spectrum and just remove the stroke, fill the color as in black and not full black. Let's adjust the alpha. Let's convert this into a symbol, click OK. And let's name this, as we mentioned there, game over MC. And inside the symbol, we just need to place the text saying that game over. Just setting the changes of the font, styles, game over. Oh, there's the dynamic text field. Just let us convert this dynamic to static and then adjust the text. So I'm just taking them in two different layers. Just adjust the height and width of that symbol, game over symbol. Oh, cool. Now I could see that game over clip, movie clip also. Save it and test it now. We already mentioned there as invisible equal to false by default. When game is completed, then it is not supposed to accept that reset one or reset all. So I'm just removing that event listeners. So when my condition count double equal to 9, I just wanted to remove that two event listeners from reset all, reset one, so that no, they don't allow the user to start again. And we need to stop the timer also, because that is not supposed to be continue update after completing the game. So once my game is completed, it is supposed to freeze the time there itself. It is supposed to stop the timer there itself. We can freeze the time just by stopping the timer. So mouse click on the spectrum. So both the events are moved under the select object, because they are supposed to be active the moment when I select the object. So that's where I just move them there. And then same events are supposed to be removed when I freeze the color. So copy paste the two events inside the freeze color and just say that remove in the place of addEventListener. So I'm just taking that, making sure that all the arrays are supposed to work properly, all the functions are supposed to work properly. I'm just testing it now. I'm just selecting the symbols from a drawing, and then I could see filling the different colors there. I'm just choosing the colors from color spectrum to fill in it. And once I'm done with all the symbols, then it shows that game over. One is missing. Cool. I can see that the game over there. This is how that we can come back and go back to that color hunt screen to get it reset after game over. Before the game over itself, that we can reset the game just by clicking on reset all. So here is the color magic game. Let's go back to the design part, and then I just wanted to put a note there. Because user may not know, saying that user has to select the object first and then select the color. So it is always better to put a note there saying that select the part from this drawing, select any part from this drawing, and then choose the color to fill in it. Something in those lines that we are supposed to place the note so that user can understand easily. Let's type the message and then format the text. Just changing that font settings because it is supposed to be visible and clear and crisp to the user. Trying to put it in two different lines. In two lines, it is not fitting in that one line. Let's adjust it in two lines. Perfect. So almost done, and we just need to apply that italic to the text so that it will be highlighted. Make it bold if required, and then make it italic. It's bold italic, yeah. Perfect. Final game is here. You could see the clear game instructions there. Just save. You could see the color hunt with clear message. Filling the color just by selection of each part of that outline. So checking the preview of each part with a different color. and freezing one color just by clicking on the spectrum. Perfect, my game is over once I fill the colors. Thank you for watching and have a great day.